Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I'm back at work, back up north. Just catching a 5-day shift here. Gonna go back after that. Feeling pretty decent. I'm actually in a pretty good mood today. Little bit of nose stuffiness. Still smell is kind of fucked up. Brain fog a bit. Waking up with a little bit of headaches and shoulder cramps, but nothing I can't handle, nothing too serious. Sun's moved into Libra. I'm paying closer attention. I'm using the sun entering the different signs as kind of a curriculum of learning the zodiacs better for my own understanding and relating to the seasons and the time of year and position of the sun in the sky and all that shit to the zodiac itself, and building a relationship in my mind with the different attributes and the actual season itself. One thing I'm going through right now is my father is a narcissist, and I don't mean that to be derogatory, but it's just a fact. And I don't use the term loosely. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that my sister and I have talked about and dealt with our whole lives, and it's been difficult. The reason I'm bringing that up now is because I'm kind of having a thing with him where when you have a parent that's a narcissist, they, in my experience, my father's personal how he's perceived his own personal achievements, his own material assets, all these things, specifically his toys, all these things are the most important things in his life. They trump family, 100%. And I've come to peace with that. That doesn't really bother me. But what's difficult about it is because his appearance is so important to him, the appearance of him being a loving, caring grandfather, father, family member is vital to the framework of him maintaining his like appearance and what other people think about him, right? So having everybody be on board with him and being good with him is vital. But he doesn't actually care about it, and he actually doesn't want to work for it. So what he does is applies manipulation tactics, specifically anchored in guilt, to force you to coincide, to check off these check boxes on his list so that he's good in his own little world, right? But he actually doesn't put in any time or effort or care into the relationship. What I'm talking about specifically, he has a trailer and a boat at a lake. It's about a 4-hour drive out of town, and he spends all summer there. And we went there for a couple days, and while we were there, I didn't even see him. He's always off tinkering with pumps and generators and boats and pulleys and wheels and wagons and ropes and chains and anything else besides actually spending time with people. Those are the things that are important to him, and that's okay with me. I've made peace with that. But now the season has rolled up, and then he comes around via text and starts guilting me into, I thought we would spend more time together. You're always in a bad mood, and you're always this, and you're always having issues, and he's always poking and prodding. And then he starts sending me pictures of my son with him, and it's like, yo man, like, You had all summer to hang out with my son. We just went to my son's birthday first football game. And I don't even really care for sports all that much. But I wanted to get my son out, take him to a football game, all this. And my father watches football all the time. So I had planned a Labor Day football game, which coincided with my son's 6th birthday. It was the first football game of his life. And I got my dad on board. I'm like, let's go do this. And he just flat out didn't even think about it for 1 second. He's got to go down to the lake because his boat needs to be spun around on the dock or some fucking thing, right? That's fine. But then he'll come around and start trying to guilt me into never being around and always being in a bad mood. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. I could throw down a bunch of stories throughout my life where when I first realized what I was dealing with was when I was in high school. When you're a kid growing up, it hurts you a lot and you think it's your fault. But it wasn't until I was in high school that I really, really realized what I was dealing with. And at Christmas time, I just lived with my dad. It was just me and him when I was in high school. And our house had gotten broken into and they stole a whole bunch of shit. And I was working part-time when I was in high school. And I had like an entire massive collection of PC games and CDs and shit that I'd all bought with all my own money. And they all got stolen. Fucking everything. And they went through the insurance and all of this. And months went by. And then one day my dad showed up with a brand new motorcycle. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, where did you get the money for that? You know, like, long story short, the insurance had come in, but he didn't give me any of the money back. Like, he took all the money and bought a motorcycle for himself so he could go out on dates with his girlfriends and shit. He never broke bread with me. Every time he would share something with me, it was at a cost, you know. Another example was several years back here, a few years back, when we had learned that my son had hearing loss. My son has severe hearing loss and he wears hearing aids. And when my wife and I learned this and we found out we had to get him some good hearing aids, you know, and we could muster that. My father and his wife are always telling us, you guys need anything, you just let us know, and so I got a hold of them. I'm like, you know, since you've offered, you know, like, we're in a bit of a tight spot here, and if you could help us with these hearing aids, they're like $5,000. Can you pitch in on buying your grandson hearing aids? Fucking totally bailed on me. 100%. Didn't think about it for a second. He told me he had to go and look at his bank account and all this shit. I mean, they've got vehicles and trailers and trucks and boats, and like, my father and my stepmother are not hard off. Do you know what I'm saying? And they just totally left us fucking in a big cloud of dust behind their tires, you know, like, totally bailed on that. So right now, his season is up. He's coming back around. He's throwing all this guilt shit onto me, and it's difficult. It's difficult having a parent that's a narcissist because they entrap you into this where you're trying to be rational and emotional and work them back into your life. But I know that he's just trying to check boxes off of a list. And I'm honestly sick of doing it. I'm sick of fucking not pulling his card, but all it's going to do is create a fight. And I don't have the time or energy or desire to get into a fight with him. So that's something that I'm dealing with right now, which is something a lot more than I want to deal with. Excuse me. So just a little catch up, just a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a dump out on the video. I love this time of year with the colors and the leaves and that nice morning sun, sitting here having a coffee. I'd like to take more videos near the plant where all the processing shit is, but there's really no good places for me to park and videotape that shit, because you're not supposed to have phones up here, and yeah. But this is pretty nice. Love is the law. Love under Welt.